Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be showing you a very useful tool that you can be using in Gems of War. This is a database of all of the troops in the game. It is made by Laya, who's just a normal regular player in this game. She made and maintained this website. Whenever a new troop comes out, she'll update it within basically the same day. And this is the most up-to-date troop list that you can find anywhere. So let's get into it. There's two different options for the troops. You can either click troops, which will bring up all these icons and everything, or you can go to the full list. You can get there from there, or if you just click this to go back to the main menu, you can just click it from the main menu and click as table. To get here, of course, I'll post the link in the description, but just this up here. ashtender.com/gems of war. You just type that in, and boom, we'll be right here. So let's get into the table. So click as table, and this will bring you to the basic table. If I'm not mistaken, this is what the table will look like to you if you haven't modified it yet. I believe it's actually safe if you try like modifying the sections. But this is what your table will likely look at. Like it has the name, then the rarity, kingdom, type, spell, colors, effects, traits, and there's several other options that you can check. So I'm going to be going through all of these and show you how you can use these to your benefit. First, the name category. Clicking on any of the names will bring you to that page. So let's just click on Aberth right here. It'll bring you to Aberth. It'll show you its stats. It shows you when it gains levels at every single level. So if you're like looking for when it gains the next magic, the next attack, or anything like that, it will be able to show that. One really good thing that this shows, which is pretty confusing to newer players, is it shows what the magic does for it. Like for instance, magic can do a lot of different things in this game. For some troops, it might raise their damage. It might raise how much attack they gain. Like with Aberth, it might like determine how many explosions. It might affect multiple things. It might affect nothing. There's troops that they don't even use magic, and it can be a bit confusing. And if you go to the site and you just search up a troop, you'll see exactly what their magic does. As you can see with Aberth, it does magic plus 1 attack. So even if it had 0 magic, it would still gain 1 attack. And to do that, you just say it was level 10 while it has 5 magic. So that means it would be gaining 6 attack whenever it casts. Plus, it shows whenever you do Ascension here for the rare Ascension, ultra rare, epic, legendary, and then the mythic. Of course, it's already a legendary, so the only upgrade it can have is mythic. And then it gains, at the mythic upgrade, it gains 1 attack, 1 life, 1 armor for that. And of course, the stats for actually being 20. And that's of those. So you can just type in anyone. If we type in a specific character here, so let's say Valkyrie, and we'll see all of our data for that for whatever sections we have in to search. And then you can just click on her name. Tells you everything about her. As you can see, she's red yellow. She takes 10 mana. Her magic scales up the amount of souls she gets. And you can see when she gets those magic, like you can see it's really good to get her up to level 10 because that's when she gets another soul. Really good to get to 15 because she gets another soul then. Another soul at 18, though you'd need to have her ascended to ultra rare first. And then, epic? Yeah, epic, you would have to have her to epic first. And then at level 20, you'd need to have her ascended to mythic. But then she can get her final 5th magic. And that just shows it there. And of course, it shows the traits that it does too. If you click on any of them, it'll show you what it does and how much it costs. As you can see here, this gives 2 life to all divines. And it costs 12 minor wind, 4 major wind, and 4 major fire. And then we just click on necromancy, shows 50% soul gain, and all the trait stones that it costs, same as waterlink. And then you can just add them up, and you kind of have the general idea of exactly how many trait stones it'll cost without actually having to go and trade it directly. And that's basically that tab. Rarity, pretty self-explanatory. You can search for any rarity. Just click epic. It'll bring up every single epic in the game. Or you can use this tab. That will reverse the order. This is really good because there isn't a reverse order in the game. Only alphabetical has reverse order for the game. Every other option that the game has, there's no reverse order for it. So this site is really good for being able to search like that. So as you can see, we can either have the mythics or legendaries first, or we can just switch it and look at the commons first. And kingdom's also pretty self-explanatory. Just type whatever kingdom. It'll bring up all of the troops that are in that kingdom. And of course, if you just have nothing selected here, it just shows them in whatever order you have prioritized. So let's prioritize kingdoms now. So it'll show all the kingdoms in alphabetical order, or we can just do it in reverse alphabetical order. Type. Also pretty self-explanatory. Whatever type the troop is, undead, monster, construct, dragon, whatever. Let's click on dragon. We'll see all the dragons. And using multiple work too. So if we go over to something like legendary, there's quite a few legendary dragons, but we can see just which ones are legendary. And of course, if you just do this, or actually that wouldn't do a reverse of anything, but yeah, you can do by troop type. Spell, you basically never need to actually look up. For the most part, you're not really going to know a troop by the spell. You're going to know them by their name. So the spell, you don't really need to know. Clicking on it does tell you what it does, though. And it even shows the magic for it as well. If you don't want to like keep clicking on every single one, this is real quick. Like, let's see. Oh, Blade Dancer. He does a 2-to-1 armor ratio. He does magic at magic +4 for his damage. And something like Thorn Whip. Oh, it does magic +2. And then you can just go through them really quick. Oh, Herd Master is magic +1 for the amount of gems it explodes. And Roar just is based on damage, and all of it like that. You can just check them really quick to see what their magic does, or their ability in general. Color is really good in this website because you can search multiple colors. If you try searching in-game, let's say you wanted to find a blue-green troop, well, in-game you'd have to only type blue or green because you can only search by single colors in-game. You'd have to either do one of these search, and then it'll bring up every single troop that's like that in the game. Well, with this website, you can do multiple. So if we type in blue, green, it'll show us only the blue greens. It won't show us everything else, unless they have all three, like a mythic, but yeah. So here would be all the blue-green troops. One thing to note about this is this website doesn't recognize inverse order. So if we actually were to type green, blue, it's going to bring up nothing. So if that happens, just reverse the order and it'll bring it up. So if we do that, green, blue, green, and then it'll bring it up. I think like red, yellow is one too, or all of them are like that. Like red, yellow, here we go. Here's all red, yellow troops. But if we accidentally type it in the reverse order of what the website knows, it'll just bring up nothing. So just reverse it if it's not bringing anything up. Effects basically just tells you whatever the general of what it does, like damages, buffs, destroys gems, buffs. It doesn't have everything in it though. Like if we type in burn, it won't show that. I don't believe freeze comes up either. Like it'll freeze an enemy, doesn't show that. But if we type in something like remove, any troops that remove gems, any troop that summons something, and anything like that, like any troop that converts a gem, it will bring all of those up. And just general search like that, we'll be able to find it. Like let's try finding a damage source. We'll find plenty of teams that does damage, or plenty of troops, I mean. And over to traits. Traits, of course, also pretty self-explanatory. Just type a trait here that you are looking for, and it will show all of them. Additionally, you can just click on any trait, and it will show you what it does, as well as how much that trait costs on that specific troop. Like for example, if we were to type agile, there's quite a few troops with agile. Like they're going to be different costs because they're different troops. So let's click on agile on a Blade Dancer. You can see Blade Dancer has it as their last trait. So it's going to be 23 minor nature, the 8 major nature, and then 3 of the arcane light. And it even tells you that's from Pan's Veil if you wanted to farm it from that kingdom. But if we go to something like a Centaur Scout, that's a common, so it's going to be a lot cheaper. Plus, it's the second trait, so it's going to be a lot cheaper. So it's only 14 minor wind, 4 major wind, and 4 runic wind, since it's all only one color, they're all the same color. And yeah, you can just basically type in any trait. Like, let's say Stone Skin. Stone Skin's a pretty good trait. We might want, like, tanky teams, so there's everything with Stone Skin. So that's basically how that works. Next up, there are categories that aren't normally showed on here, which you'll be able to do, and there might be more in the future. Of course, this is being run just by one person, so it does a lot for just being run by one person. But of course, you can't do everything for it. But here, lower mana cost, it shows the mana cost for all of the troops. Generally, lower rarity have lower costs, higher rarity like Legends, Mythics, and Epics have higher costs. But it'll show you it will sort them by whatever mana cost you have. Maybe you're looking for a very cheap team to be able to cast real quickly, or you're looking for one really high mana costing troop to put with a converting troop, like maybe the Great Maul with a Mercy or Alchemist or something like that, that can really utilize the extra mana output for a better ability. So that's what the cost does. Let's go to the next one. The next few are pretty self-explanatory based on what's already in game. This one will sort by attack. It'll show you what their basic attack is. Of course, Fortress Gate was 0. Keep in mind, all stats don't show kingdom bonuses because there's no way to really know what your kingdom bonuses are. So whatever stats you see on this website, just add all of your kingdom bonuses to it, and that will be what your troop would have been once you get it to that level. Because there's no way the website can know to compensate for that, for your specific ones. And as you can see, Marilith and War and Winter Imp all at the top. And then you can see all the ones at the bottom, like Fortress Gate and Mad Prophet, I didn't even know, is actually the lowest attack of any troop that has attack. So that's kind of interesting. Or of course, Fortress Gate kind of has 2, since you get kingdom bonuses, but you know, it's 0. That's already abysmal. So that's attack, pretty self-explanatory. Life and armor are also pretty self-explanatory. This just sorts them all by life. You can find the lowest, which is basically all the skeletons like Azurus, Revenant, White, and of course the actual skeleton, Steam Turret. And all the way at the highest with things like Catharsis, I don't even want to try his name, Green Slime, Green Slime, Imp of Love, Berserker, all of those, Fortress Gate. And just reverse order if you wanted to find the lowest. And why did I click that? Next. Armor, also pretty self-explanatory, shows the lowest, click it once, shows the lowest armor, what's his name, and Green Slime, both of 0. Thrall's also pretty low with only 4, or we can inverse it, try finding the highest, Steam Turret at the highest, Famine, Azurus, and, you know, you can see. Next one. Durability. Durability is their HP plus their armor. So as you can see, troops like Hippogriff, Marilith, and Dwarven Slayer are very, very low durability. They have a very low HP plus armor. So like if we click Hippogriff right here, you can see 23 HP, 7 armor. So that's 30. So that's actually the weakest troop in the entire game. Oh, and if you click in one of them, it'll undo all your searches. So you might want to open these as a new tab if you're trying a bunch of different searches here, just so you'll be able to find it easily. Because this does allow multiple searches. I can't remember if I went over it yet. This is actually the second time I recorded this video, mostly because I forgot to turn screen capture on the first time. And I even went in game, started trading everything, and I won't do that now because I can't actually trade them since I have nothing left to trade. or ascend, I mean. Anyways, durability. It's their HP plus armor. So as you can see, I already went over these. Lowest, highest is actually Fortress Gate because it has 0's attack. All troops basically scale on like a general premise with their attack, HP, and armor. So since Fortress Gate has the lowest attack in the game, of course it has the highest durability in the game. And then there's like things like troops that are actually useful, like Goblin King, Scion, Druid, Famine, etc., etc. Next up, take off durability. And then there is physical durability. Physical durability is similar to durability, in which it shows HP plus armor. But what physical durability also does is it compensates for traits like Armor, Stone Skin, and Granite Skin, which all reduce skull damage with mitigation. So if we do this, click right here, we'll see the same basic lowest ones. But if you click to higher, we're going to see something very different than just on the durability one. We're going to see it based on the traits that they have. So as you can see, Gorgotha has Granite Skin, which is 75% skull reduction. So it, of course, has the highest physical durability in the entire game. And then it's followed by all the troops that have Stone Skin, such as Archon Statue, 50% skull reduction, 96, 96, 90 on Golem. That's why I also mentioned quite a few times in my videos why Golem is so good. It's one of the tankiest troops in the game. Just look at this. Archon Statue and Golem are really, really tanky early on. Especially since Golem has Impervious too, which is immune to all status effects. But yeah, and that's also why a lot of people in late game use Gorgotha, because look at that. That's twice as much skull counter than any other troop in the game. Even the second highest is 2 times better than that, a Gorgotha, which is why he's pretty popular. You'll see him quite a lot if you can get him traded. It's always a fight between do you trade Great Maul or do you trade Gorgotha? And this is the main argument for people who say Gorgotha, because he is an extremely hard skull counter, as you can see by that over twice as much number. And yeah, that is basically everything with this. Well, let me show, since I don't believe I did it this video, I know I did it in first recording, but let me show like multiple ones. Like let's say Marilith, for instance. Marilith is pretty good. Let's say we just got her recently, or let's say she was like the event troop right now. Maybe consoles you or might get her in, I don't know, a couple weeks or something. Maybe soon. I don't know. Let's say you just got her today. She was the event for right now in consoles or something. And let's say you want to make a team for her. Well, we can see here she's a Daemon, and we can also see that she has something like Firelink. So let's try using both of those. So if we go back to this table right here, let's click for trait, Firelink, and for troop type, we just go to Daemon. And then that will bring up every single troop that has both Firelink and Daemon. Of course, we can see both of those are both red-yellow, so we'll either want to pull a Moloch or Taraxis with that team, preferably Moloch since they both do true damage with their ability. And that's basically how you find teams like that. And let's say, oh, you don't really want to like focus on red that much. Well, let's just look up Daemons, and this will show you every single Daemon that is in the game. So you'll be able to find troops that you can pair up with your Mirrorlift if you want to make something like a 4x Mirrorlift team. And I don't believe there are any, but we could even do like the kingdom as well that Mirrorlift is in. Like when you see it is Mist of Scales. I don't believe there's any other Daemons in Mist of Scales, but we can do something like that, and it'll show all the Daemons that are in Mist of Scales. Well, she's the only one. But if we do something like, let's go over to Blighted Lands, we'll see, well, there's a lot more Daemons in Blighted Lands, so maybe we could use 3 Blighted Lands troops with her or something like that. So that's basically how you use these search options. If you have any other questions about how to use this website or sorting troops or anything like that in general, need help with troop builds, feel free to leave a comment below. I'll leave a like if you found this video helpful, and that will basically wrap it up. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.